Entonces, nos llevamos esa mochila con nosotros de nuestra vida. Entonces, si tú tienes una negatividad muy fuerte, ¿qué es lo que va a pasar? Vas a generar como una barrera alrededor tuyo, no tú. La negatividad que tienes contigo, que llevas acarreando hace muchos años, va a generar una barrera que va a hacer que no lleguen a ti esos seres energéticos que te ayudan a subir como en las películas, al cielo, o en lo que yo le llamo al éter. Y créanlo o no, en muchas películas, cada vez más y más, por la cantidad de personas que han tenido experiencias, así como las tengo yo todo el tiempo, de llegar a estar donde están las almas. La verdad que muchas películas lo describen muy, muy, muy bien. O sea, básicamente es un espacio blanco, es un espacio, podríamos decir, vacío, pero no se siente vacío, se siente extremadamente acogedor, calmado, mucho amor, se siente paz. Y hay muchos de ellos, así como estuvieran esperando un tren, ahí están. Y dices, ¿pero qué están esperando? Su turno a quizás volver o simplemente pues ahí es un espacio que existe en el éter donde pues ahí vamos y ahí estamos si es que tenemos que volver a esta tierra. Entonces, cuando el alma recién fallece, por eso existen las historias de personas que quizás cuando fallecen que tienen una cara de mucho miedo o que tienen una cara quizás de como que vieron un ángel y si pueden valorar también las historias de los ancianos cuando ya llegan a esa edad y empiezan a ver cosas y, ay, estoy viendo un angelito, o hablan con su mamá o su papá que murió hace muchos años y tú dices, wow, pero mi abuela o mi abuelo están locos, están viendo cosas. Y no, no es que están viendo nada, sino que cuanto más cerca llegas a ese punto de transición, más se abre, es como que de a poquito te vas volviendo a unir de donde vienes y más se abre tu percepción, también tienes más tiempo de ocio, lo cual hace que también empieces a abrir esa parte. Imagínense si tuviéramos más tiempo de ocio en todo el transcurso de nuestras vidas, podríamos ver todo eso. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Cuando tú estás en el punto de la muerte, podríamos decirle así, el trascender, vas a empezar a ver seres queridos o vas a empezar a ver lo que te rodea, vas a empezar a ver la realidad, que es sumamente traumante, depende el estado y la situación en la que estés. O sea, si tú estás si eres una persona positiva, vas a ver quizás seres que vienen o angelitos que te acompañan. Y eso no es porque yo estoy en una religión, no, estas son experiencias pues que le pasa a todo el mundo, sin importar la religión. Y bueno, y para nosotros que trabajamos con energía, son cosas que vemos mucho antes de ni siquiera llegar a ese punto de fallecer, porque abrimos nuestro tercer ojo mucho antes, abrimos ese canal y esa conexión mucho antes. Entonces, la gente normal, podríamos decir, llega a ver la realidad cuando está más cerca a la muerte. Por eso cuando nos volvemos ancianos, cuando nos volvemos ya viejitos que estamos ahí cerquita, somos más comprensivos, quizás entendemos más a las personas y no peleamos tanto, porque se nos abre un panorama, se nos abre la mente de cierta forma y mucha gente lo llama como que, esos son los años de la vida, pues ya no te importa nada. No, es porque te vas volviendo a unir de donde vienes. Y así como cuando éramos bebés, tú tenías un hilo, ese cordón, cordón umbilical invisible, y muchos hilos en el cuerpo que te unen a ese éter de donde venimos. Y luego pues te vas desconectando, pero tienes la posibilidad de mantenerte conectado. La gente decide no mantenerse conectado porque la espiritualidad no es algo que se enseñe en una escuela, al contrario, intentan hacer que se te tape la glándula pineal, que se te tapen todos los puntos de percepción que puedas tener con tal de tenerte como un esclavo, como un zombie de consumo, consumo, consumo. Entonces, de ahí venimos, nos desconectamos y luego cuando estamos cerca a ir ahí otra vez naturalmente, nos volvemos a conectar muy despacito. Entonces empezamos a cambiar. Y ahí es cuando uno dice, wow, como dice, mi abuelo, mi abuela está loca, están hablando, están viendo cosas, dijeron que vieron un ángel, dijeron que esto. Y al contrario, están mucho más sanos y más cuerda que nosotros, o sea, que la mayoría de personas, porque están viendo la realidad, están viendo lo que tú no logras ver todavía. Entonces, qué chévere sería si quizás puedas lograr ver eso antes de tiempo. Entonces, ese momento de salirte del cuerpo, te va a ser traumático si tienes negatividad contigo porque vas a tener un proceso de purgación mucho más largo de lo normal. Cuando naturalmente si tú simplemente tienes algo de negatividad por errores que has cometido, pero ya los has superado, ya te has arrepentido y no puedo hacer énfasis suficiente en lo importante que es el arrepentimiento. Yo entiendo que la mayoría de personas piensan que es algo malo, que no, que uno tiene que aprender de los errores y eso te hace lo que eres hoy. Sí, pero cada error también mancha tu alma, cada error mancha tu energía. Entonces, si tú te quieres, si tú te amas, vas a pasar por un momento de aprendí, valoro la enseñanza, aprendí, no vuelve a pasar, pero me perdono y perdono a la persona a la cual herí o lo que sea que te haya pasado, pero tienes que pasar por esas tres etapas. Si no lo haces, vas a seguir juntando y tarde o temprano, piénsalo así y usa tu lógica. Si nosotros cuando nacemos somos puros y volvemos al lugar donde somos puros, si es que tenemos que volver a esta tierra, ¿no? O ir para otro lado, pero tenemos que volver a ese source, a esa fuente energética. Entonces, para poder existir en esa vibración tan fuerte y tan alta de energía, tienes que estar puro. No puedes estar impuro. Es imposible. No es que te rechacen las puertas al cielo, como dicen, como dice la gente. No, es que no, tu alma no tiene capacidad de subir, de elevarse a esa vibración. Entonces, lo único que puede existir en ese lugar de paz, en ese lugar del éter, en esa dimensión, son almas que realmente ya han pasado por su purgación, han pasado por su limpieza y están ahí listas para su turno y sin importar el tiempo porque no sienten tiempo y eso también lo pueden experimentar ustedes los que han tenido situaciones de fuera del cuerpo o también los que han tenido situaciones de meditación súper profundas. Pueden sentir de que quizás pasaron horas en esa meditación porque te fuiste, ¿no? Y resulta de que pasaron 5 minutos en esta vida. O al contrario, todo depende. Entonces es sumamente interesante cómo en el tema espiritual no existe ese tiempo y espacio. A ver, vamos al chat y volvemos. Pretty necklace, thank you. Hey, Jenny. Hey. It's nice to know there's no hell, so I won't have to wear my suit. Okay, let me get to that. Hold on. I'm not so sure there's no hell. By the way, I don't study any religion. For those that are new, I don't follow any religion, so this isn't something that I'm not talking about something that goes with any book or anything. I'm talking about this from personal experience, from what I personally do energy-wise, and interactions and encounters that I've had. Because it's one of my favorite things to do is actually help suspended souls. There's no grateful being in the world other than I would say animals and souls that see the reality and are not tainted and blocked by physical things and by cultures and mentalities, but they see energy. That's all they see. So it's so overwhelmingly it's overwhelming when you talk to them, there's a lot of people in the world, and in fact you guys can talk to people that have passed away too. It's just a matter of wanting to do that. Okay, so you say there's no hell. So I'm gonna tell you that what people call hell is actually this particular planet, just in a dimension that you don't see. So the people that have a lot of negativity, that haven't gone through that process of repent, or haven't gone through the process of cleansing, or haven't gone, or don't care about it, right? And they're really, really, really negative and they pass away. What embraces them when they pass away, unfortunately, is exactly what they're built of. So if your soul is completely dark, let's say, I'm giving like the extreme example, right? What's going to greet you when you pass away is going to be something that vibrates with what you have inside of you. So that is what people usually call hell, because it's you suffer. You're not going to feel pain in a physical way, but you're going to feel suffering in many other ways, depending on what it is that you did as a human being. So not only will you be stuck here in this earth, but you'll be stuck here in a very low vibration, feeling the ache and pain of the rest of the people that are stuck here that negativity has embraced into their arms. So it's almost like you become a slave. I'm not kidding. So there's not like a physical place that you say, like in the movies where it's like, oh, welcome to hell, there's fire. No, it's here. And believe it or not, Earth can be pretty hellish if you think about it. But imagine, for example, if you are very attached to material things, if you're very attached to, this is the story of people that move into a house and it turns out that it's haunted by a person that lived there many years ago. Some people have negativity and are so attached maybe to the energies that are in that house that will decide, the energies won't let them leave and they'll be there, but they're not themselves anymore. So I've gone to houses, to cleanse houses where I've literally seen that a dead person that lived there before, and it's not them anymore. Like they're completely absorbed. So the longer you stay in that negative vibration of dimension, whatever, the more negativity consumes your light. That's almost kind of how it works until it gets to the point where like physical years for us, years after, you will no longer be you. And you can use this as an example. If I were to, I'm trying to explain what I see, and I know it's not easy, and I know I sound crazy, but it is what it is. If I were to explain to you, for those that believe in possessions, right? And honestly, I don't know why anybody wouldn't believe in possessions. I mean, you're you, and then all of a sudden the person is not them anymore. And I think that the most common visually seen possessions in the world are probably the ones of domestic violence and alcohol and drugs. So if you've ever seen a person that is so consumed by alcohol or drugs that their eyes are bloody red and they are acting in a raging manner that the next day they don't remember, that's usually not them. So it's something that's completely taken over their body. It doesn't mean that they're not responsible for what they did. It just means that something else was stronger than their energy and it totally just took over their physical acts. Yes, that's possible. So that would be kind of what happens when you pass away as a soul. Let's say that you were a very nasty person and a very negative person. You're going to live with that negativity that you've generated as a human being physically in this earth in your afterlife as well. So unless somebody with the power of a positive energy, helps you, even because energy is energy, you can cleanse energy alive or dead, it doesn't matter. So unless, and this is very rare that it happens, so unless somebody actually helps you move on to the next level, you're not going to. And we're talking about, rapists, we're talking about murderers, you name it, anything that you can think of that's nasty. So that's why if you guys have ever thought, oh, well, he'll get what he deserves, believe me, they get what they deserve, and it is not pretty. So it's just constant suffering and not being able to do anything about it without a physical body. That's really what it is. Now, is there a time maybe, let's move more into the realistic level where you're not a murderer, you're not a rapist, you haven't done that kind of stuff, but you have negativity, okay? Then it's different because you have to balance out. Well, do you have more negativity than positivity, but you still have strong positivity? Okay, well, you have to go back to where you came from, to that source, right? We all come from somewhere. So it's going to help you, okay? It's just going to take time. The more negativity you have, the more time you'll be stuck in this plane. I don't know if I'm saying that word right, plano in Spanish. But the more time you'll be stuck here to really make amends. So that's when you see people that pass away, maybe that try to make contact with their siblings, with their loved ones. For me, like in the sense of my family member, my father, his amend was, and still is really for I think until the day I pass away, be next to me. And if I need to talk to him, I hear him, not right away sometimes. It's like the more that passes, the more that actually even the person loses their personality. And Also, use your logic. Let's say, imagine you pass away, right? At the beginning, you still have that personality. So if anybody's able to hear you, they're still going to hear you as in the same voice, right? And personality and talk the same way as you did before. But the longer you are in that ethereal plane, in that ethereal dimension, the more peaceful you become, the more holy you become, right? Until you are pure, 100%. So sometimes it's even difficult to describe who it is that you're talking to, and then you're like, oh, okay, like you'll feel it, you'll feel a perception, and you'll realize who it is. When mediums connect with souls that are still in this in let's say that they haven't ascended yet, and they still have personalities like the ones that they did when they were alive, very strong, it's more than likely because they haven't reached that plane of really resting. So it's a process, and I guess you could also say it's kind of a getting used to. Like if you're living in a place of peace and love and relaxing, well, you'll become the same because it is energy. So it's just remember that our bad habits and our bad mouth or what else? Our grudges or our judging, all of those things are things that are fed to our personalities and our emotions through social, through society, through TV, through social media, through people. So once you separate yourself from any of that, you're no longer being influenced. Your village, your home is other people that are just resting for a while. So you will change until you decide. You also have the decision. You have the decision of, well, let's say you've done wrong by a loved one and you want to make it right. You have the decision of saying, I want to stay with them. The first couple of days also, you'll be able to visit your loved ones. You'll be able to visit whoever you want. And then once you move on to the next phase, if you really feel like part of your process of cleansing, it's kind of like a trade, right? Like you'll decide, I'm going to cleanse my soul by being there for my kid, by being there for my family, if you didn't do right by them, right? So that is like your burden. Your burden is helping them until they're in the right path. And if they never get to the right path, you're going to be there for a really long time. But once you help them get to the right path, sometimes there's people that give those stories of, I don't know why, but I feel like I'm looking for something and I'm looking for a job or I'm looking for an idea, and I just thought of grandpa, or I just thought of my mom or my dad, and then this came along, and it's like, don't, be assured that they're helping you. And not necessarily did they have to do wrong by you to help you. They could have been awesome parents, and they're still going to help you just because they're still going to have that emotional connection. So usually they'll completely rest when they see that you're fully encaminado on the road, let's say on the right road, and they can feel rested to say, okay, I can now leave this life behind and I'm ready for the reset. And that's when you reset. So reset doesn't mean that everything's wiped out of you. It's suppressed. But it's not suppressed. It's suppressed on purpose, but you can access this information anytime you want with a regression, with a hypnosis. It's there. It's just a matter of, do you want to? For some people, it might be very significant because it really might make a difference in your life into finding what it is that you're here to do and who you are. But really who you are is who you make this life of being. You can't live your life being what you were in another life. But you might have a very important task to do and you might be lost. And that's why it might be important for you to really do a regression and see what you did in another life. But so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not for everybody, and there's a reason why you reset. And the reason why you reset is so it's not a traumatic experience, so that when you do come back, if you do have to come back, you can come back with a clean slate and love your family as your family and not think, I'm not from this family, what is going on, and live a traumatic experience. Remember your death or your many deaths, depending on how many lives you've had. And there's actually stories, you can look them up. Even I think the shows are on YouTube as well. Look up My Child I don't remember the name, but look regression and it'll come up. It's like, I think it's from DW documentaries, but kids that remember exactly who they were in another life and remember how they died and everything, their family that they had, and it's really traumatic for them to the first couple of years when they start remembering these things to live in that new house or in that new place because they see their parents maybe as their daughter or they see their parents as you're not my mom, you're not my dad. So there's a reason why this suppression of memories is done, and it's really just for your own good.